Yo, what's up guys, and welcome to a brand new video. And in today's video we have got day 5, or episode 5 of 0 to a million in 7 days over on FIFA 20. And today we're going to be covering early investments over on FIFA 20. So we're talking, I guess, first few days of early access, or first few days of web app if you decide not to do early access. So what we're going to be covering today is we're going to be covering what was done well in previous years. We're going to be covering what, I guess, makes a good criteria, something that will do well as an early investment. And then I'm going to walk through a few things which I think this year in FIFA 20 will be a decent investment. So before we talk about why you should invest your coins, we're actually going to talk about, I guess, why you maybe shouldn't invest your coins, which I guess is quite a weird thing to talk about in this video. But sometimes you really don't want to be tied up with coins at the beginning of FIFA, because let's say, for example, I went and invested all my coins in some players, and then an SBC came out where I knew I could go and buy, I don't know, let's say I knew I could go and buy an Acerbi, and I knew that he'd double or triple in coins. But I'm stuck here with loads of investments, and I'd have to sell them to buy Acerbis, and by that time it's probably too late. So it really, and on top of that, you also then have less coins to trade. Let's say you have 100k and you put 90k into investments, you then have 10k to trade with, and it might be way more effective to have the 100k to trade with. So before we talk about investing, I guess, really, something massive is it might actually be more effective for you not to invest. Now, it really depends how many hours you put into FIFA. If you're putting, I guess, like an hour or less into FIFA, investing is probably a great shout for you. But if you're putting, you know, 1 to, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 hours, whatever, or let's say you're throwing anything 3 hours or above into FIFA, it honestly may be worth your time learning how to trade, because you might be able to make coins faster than having coins in players and waiting for them to rise. So that's one thing I will talk about before, I guess, or just one thing I'll mention, is that it might actually be better for you to not invest rather than invest, depending on how much time you have to put onto FIFA, sorry. But now we're going to talk about what made a great investment last year. Now, I've done a little bit of research into kind of meta players at the beginning of FIFA, and we have some interesting results. You know, we have the likes of 83 Martial, and I'd say all these graphs are taken at the exact same time, which makes it really nice to, you know, compare them as such. But we've got 83 Martial right here. You can see start off about 20k, and then rose up to, what's that, probably about, I guess he started about 30k and rose up to about 40. Then got the likes of Walker right here, who started off at about 40, I think, went all the way up to about 80, which is quite nice. We have Jesus, who started here at about 30 and went all the way up to 65, I think, which is pretty insane. I'm going off PlayStation prices. But we got Sanchez, who started about, what's that, about 30 and went to about, I don't know, whatever that is, probably about 65 to 70. We have then got Mendy, which, oh not Mendy, sorry, we then have got Royce, who did get an early team of the week, but he went from 25k all the way up to about 50k. We then got Mendy, who started from, I don't want to say about 5k and ended up at around about, what's that, about 16, 17k, which is nice. We then have Cuadrado, who started here about 10k, and I guess had a stint where he even went up to about 25k. And we have Mertens right here, who went from 50 and went up to about 80, 90. And we got two more now. We got Sano, who went from 50k and rose all the way up to about 150, which is mad. And then we got Dele Alli, who started at about 10 and rose all the way up to about 35k. So there's a little bit of data I've got, and these are the players I'm using to compare who was a good investment at the beginning of FIFA. Who do I personally like? Well, I'll be completely honest with you. Don't know how many of you guys at the beginning of FIFA on a road to glory are going to start off with like 50k. So Sane, you know, Mertens, someone like, who else we got? Royce, Sanchez, Jesus. A lot of these players are going to be out of the equation for a lot of you guys. But someone who's very interesting, in my opinion, is the likes of Mendy. Now, Mendy, again, I think is extremely affordable. I think he would have started about 5 and ended off at about 15, 16k. This not only is super affordable, but it is also a pretty insane increase. You know, we're talking about 2 to 3 times, well, sorry, yeah, about 3 times what you're selling him for, 3 times about what you bought him for. And likewise with Cuadrado, actually, I quite like Cuadrado as an investment as well. You know, he started off around about, I want to say maybe about 12k, and then, as I say, without ignoring the stint, I guess you could say, went up to about 20k, so just under double with him, so not quite as good as Mendy. Now, why did Mendy do what Mendy did? The reason Mendy did what he did is because, and the reason Cuadrado did what he did, is because what these are players who have a very low amount of substitute players, or they're basically the best in their category. Mendy, arguably at the beginning of FIFA, was the best Premier League left back in his category, which meant although there were a lot packed because of his 81 rating, as soon as people were buying teams, he was highly demanded because he was arguably the best player. And same thing with Cuadrado right here. It may seem very strange, but Cuadrado was the best Caltre right mid, which means he would have started at 10k because 84 is relatively low rated, especially when packs being spammed. And then he went all the way up to 20k as soon as people were building Caltre teams and wanted the best right mid, especially working out that they weren't expensive. So the formula is basically to work out we want low ratings, but then we also want not much option in that position. This can be either not much option by the ways of everyone else is very low rated, or it can be not much option in the fact that everyone else isn't really going to perform as well as they did. Now, I will say that Mendy is a bit of a rarity because very rare will the Premier League not have a high amount of options. Arguably, they actually did. You know, they had Marcus Alonso and Robertson, but I guess Mendy won, not only because he was French, but because he, I guess, fed the meta a little bit better this year. Now, I basically have used the exact same criteria on low ratings, but I also want there to be not much options looking at FIFA 20. Sadly, there isn't anything like the Premier League. I personally believe Mendy was amazing this year because the Premier League is such a demanded league that you saw 3 times on a 5k investment, which is mad. Rather than I think next year, basically the examples I've got, sadly none of them are in the Premier League. One thing you could look at is where you have a extreme. So, for example, let's say you look at Caltre left backs and you have Alexander. Well, at the beginning of the game, Alexander is going to be about 100k. So maybe you look at the next cheapest, who is, I don't know, Kolarov if he's still playing around. So that's sort of something you can look at. I haven't gone through that on this video, but that is something you can look at. That is looking at, again, like, it's a bit like Premier League right backs. You know, we got Walker, Cancelo, they're going to be insane. And then you have the likes of, Enner Valencia. But I think there are a few actually in there. You've got like Enner Valencia, Antonio Valencia, sorry. You've got the likes of Aurier, if he's still around, unless he's transferred. But yeah, there's still quite a lot of options there. But I've come up with 3 different, I guess, criteria at players. So let's go and crack underway with them. So the first one, which is La Liga left wings. Now, the nice thing about La Liga left wings, we are looking obviously from last FIFA, but Coutinho, he's gone. Promes, he's gone. And from what I know, they're the only ones that are gone. But let's be honest, very unlikely you can use the likes of Koke in left mid. Very unlikely you can use the likes of like Vitolo. You might use someone lower, maybe use Tello because he's got pace. But the main guys that I'm looking at here are Lamar. And really just Lamar, to be completely honest, because he's also French, which gives him a nice little bit of redeeming quality. You don't like Asensio, maybe they make Asensio a little bit faster, which would increase the demand on him, but, and you also have the likes of Guedes. If Guedes gets a good upgrade, obviously he had a good UCL, so the 2 cards I look at right there would be Guedes and Lamar. Lamar, will, I'll be honest with you, will probably be like 6, 7, 8k, depending on what rating is at the beginning of FIFA. Guedes, probably a little bit less because he's not French, and obviously French is a lot demanded. 84 or below, 84 rating or below. And as I say, hopefully do pretty well with there being a few La Liga teams. Especially there being a lot of La Liga transfer players with the likes of Eder Militao, the likes of Jovic, the likes of Hazard. But, I was like, by the way, if you guys were going to bring up Hazard, Hazard is what I was talking about earlier. Completely different price category. Someone who's buying Lamar isn't debating, should I buy Lamar or should I buy Hazard? Yeah, if you're buying Hazard, you know you're buying Hazard. One thing I would say this, by the way, I may also not kept up to date with transfers. There might be a few transfers where you guys are like, well, damn, there's like this guy and this guy and this guy have transferred, but I'm not too clued up on that, so do bear with. I also know there is Vincent Jr., but I don't really think he's due an upgrade. Don't think he's done much this year. You also have a guy called Rodrigo or something like that, who's also a Brazilian left wing from Real Madrid, but I don't believe he's going to start in at a relatively high rating. So there's the first criteria, and that is La Liga left wings. We're now moving over to the next one, which is going to be Caltre right wing. So one that actually worked very, very well last year, because you see we got the likes of Cuadrado, Callahan, Castello, Suso, Bernadeschi, and so on and so on. And again, so the ones actually with this one is, including a brand new transfer, is Lozano. Now again, looking at these, unless there has been a massive transfer, which I'm missing, Lozano and Cuadrado arguably be the 2, runners. What I've seen is Cuadrado is actually 83 rated, so if Lozano comes through with like an 82 or an 83, I think Lozano probably would be the more favourable. Callahan didn't really seem to be favourable at the beginning of the game, being literally a discard 84 as such. And Castello and Sousa, I don't think Castello's had too many informs, so I don't believe he's due probably an upgrade or anything like that. He's also had a good season, but I don't really know if he's quite a demanded player in FIFA. And yeah, that's all she wrote with the Caltre right wings. And again, this is one that worked very well last year with the likes of how well Cuadrado did. With the likes of Lozano, give a little bit of competition as such, but I think both players could do pretty well, because Caltre is quite a demanded starter team. So now going to move underway with the last category, and that is going to be Caltre right backs. Now, this is actually one that I think they'll be absolutely amazing. Now, unless I'm missing anything, I think Danilo has transferred to Juventus as a right back. Cancelo is gone. And if you look at how well Florenzi did last year, this is with a João Cancelo. He did extremely well. And again, that is with very tight competition. You know, we'll see he started here at about 6k, and then he rose all the way up here to about 17k. You have to remember Cancelo wasn't in packs, which then would have made Cancelo super expensive, which then would have made Florenzi more looking better value for money, and therefore people would have bought him. But he did very well with extremely tough competition of the likes of João Cancelo. But now João Cancelo is transferred. Arguably, he is the outstanding best right back. Unless he gets a downgrade, which I'm not quite sure how he's performed. I think he's had an okay season, hasn't he? I mean, what's that? That's not performance-based. He's had 1 in form, so... And I don't... Yeah, I think this was like an SBC card. So I don't quite know how his card is going to do next year, but... By the looks of things, he looks like the best right back. You probably have the options to... You know, you have the option of... as he looks pretty decent. So I'd say Florenzi, if he is again an 82 rated, if there isn't some mad transfers I've missed, I'd say there are a fair few nice transfers into the Calcio which would do him pretty nicely. I can imagine he'll be a banging investment, you know, if he'll be about 6-7k and then climb to around about 20k, that'd be decent, you know, you're getting 3 times on your investment. So, that is going to be about it. If you guys have got any recommendations, this will be a really interesting one for you guys to drop down below. If you have any players you think will do well, like, you know, Calcio right backs or, you know, certain players or anything like that, do feel free to drop them down below. Again, looking at them right backs, I don't think any of them have had amazing seasons, therefore should contest Florenzi, because the less contested they are, the more they're going to rise. The more contested they are, the less they rise, because people just go and buy the substitute players. So that has been it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed early FIFA investing. Again, we're talking first few days of the web app. Or the early access, depending what you're running on. Remember, early access is coming out on both Xbox and PlayStation. If you guys didn't know, obviously previously it's just been on Xbox, but PlayStation got it this year, which is lovely. So, thank you very much for watching the video. So we got daily episodes of 0 to 1 million in 7 days on FIFA 20. So do feel free to check them out, and I shall see you guys in another video.